All right. First and foremost, I want to start off by saying, Baruch Yahweh, Baruch Yahweh Shai, Baruch Yahweh, Baruch Yahweh Shai, Baruch Yahweh, Baruch Yahweh Shai, Call Halor Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kwadash. Shalom to you sincere Akim out there listening, learning, and pushing this truth. And shalom to the few sincere Akwath that are out there listening and learning as well. With that being said, Adawan Ratazah, this will be edifying. As usual, I'm going to go into Rakah Kwadash. And I just had to come on and do this video. I heard some horrific, beautiful, but horrific news. I'll get to that in a little bit. But as you can see, as I've been telling you, the NASDAQ, the stock market, has been trending down. It's crashing, if you can't tell. Okay? It's crashing. And like I said before, I believe they're trying to control the collapse. But it's breaking news, you know. As you can see, do your own due diligence. The Dow is down again. Okay? So, like I said, just keep an eye on it. It's volatile, as you can see. One day it's very volatile, up and down, but overall, it's trending down, okay? So, keep an eye on that. But that's not what this lesson is about. I just wanted to show that real quick. Breaking news. Have you heard the news? In my social media, my feed, I saw 2 videos on this, and I was like, wow. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai truly is not playing around, man. The judgments are going out, and they're horrific upon the wicked, you know. And this is why, hey man, we're gonna wait on clean girls, as brothers say. You know, we're gonna wait on some clean girls, cause, whew, man, oh man. Anyway, this is as you can see from Live Science. It says flesh-eating vulva infections reported in 3 cases. Gynecologists should know the signs, expert warn. And this is dated April 14th, 2025. So I'll read a little bit of the article, and 2 scriptures came to mind. Well, one scripture in particular, and it's funny. Matter of fact, I'll get to it first. Remember, I was telling you if I was rusty on. I hadn't gone through Deuteronomy 28 in a minute, and it's funny that I literally just went through it the other day. So this verse was fresh in my mind, and it was the main scripture that was screaming in my mind as I heard about this flesh-eating STD that's really affecting women, destroying your genitals, man, and also can lead to sepsis, which is deadly, can kill you. So let's Deuteronomy 28. I'll start at 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, because we're under the curses still, you know. They're transitioning off of us, but the curses are still in full effect, man. And as it's going to say, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is adding curses that weren't even written in the book, you know. Think the judgments are getting more and more grievous, man. So it says, the tender and delicate woman among you, hey, now is not the time to be playing around, man. Now is the time to be focused on the kingdom. And now is the time to be straddling the fence, playing around in this world, man. This world is going to hell in a handbasket, if that's how the saying goes. Circling the drain. You playing around, you're gonna go down the drain with it. So it says the tender and especially messing around with these nasty scallywags, these 304s, man. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground, for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. That's why our women are against us, especially Eve. Eve is very aggressive, man, especially towards the men, even her own children, you know. But that's not what I want to harp on, you know. But again, the curses are in full effect. We understand that. So it says, if thou will not and the curses are upon us because of our disobedience. All right, because we sin. The way sin is transgression of the law. Breaking of the law is what sin is. Because we sin, we die. These curses come upon us. They cleave unto us. The wages of sin are death. That's the price you pay. These plagues, these curses, these judgments. And boy, oh boy, is a grievous judgment going out to you harlots, you adulterers. You know? If thou, and I'm going to get into it, if thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, right? Then the Lord, it's the main point. Then the Lord Yahweh will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of a long countenance, and sore sickness, and of a long countenance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou was afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of law. Them will the Lord Yahweh bring upon thee until thou be destroyed. And we're in that time, man. We've been in that time. But things are escalating. The judgments are getting more grievous. And Revelation 22 and 18 pretty much says the same thing. And that's why we're so, well, this in particular is going into adding and taking away from the scriptures. That's why we're so careful of what we say, because we know the judgment, right? The judgment for adding or taking away from this word. You got to push this sound doctrine. No leaven, you know? We got to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, all right? So this is Revelation 22 and 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book, if any man shall add unto these things, Yahweh shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, Yahweh shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. So that's the point, right? It's deadly serious, this thing of ours. But the key is, we're in the time of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, adding plagues unto you, you know? All the plagues that we were afraid of, as it says in ancient Egypt, they're back in full effect, and even more plagues, newly created plagues, newly created pestilences, diseases, you know? Horrific times, man. And you ain't seen nothing yet. So going back to the article, I'll close out with the article. Again, flesh-eaten vulvar infections reported in 3 cases. Gynecologists should know the signs, expert warned. And it's dated again April 14th, 2025. Doctors in the UK have warned gynecologists of the risk of, how you say this word, Salakia, necroticizing fascists in the external genitalia after seeing several cases. Gynecologists should be informed of the signs of a rare flesh-eating infections, doctors warn, because these dangerous infections can sometimes infiltrate the vulva. In a new case published April 8th in the journal BMJ Case Reports, UK doctors described 3 patients who were found to have necroticizing fasciitis of the vulva. The vulva includes the external female genitalia, such as the labia majora and the labia minora, for example. Necroticizing fasciitis, NF for short, also known as flesh-eating disease. The NF isn't new. That's been around. Necroticizing fasciitis, because I was doing my due diligence. They've been had flesh-eating diseases. What's new is that it's sexually transmitted. It's attacking these women's sexual reproductive organs on the outside. If you get my drift, I done read it. So we are all adults, you know. It's attacking the genitalia of the female. So it says necroticizing fasciitis NF, also known as flesh-eating disease, can arise when certain bacteria enter the skin through a wound, a cut, abrasion, burn, surgical wound, or even an insect bite. Bill Sullivan, a professor of microbiology and immunology at Indiana University, who was not involved in the case report, told Live Science in an email. NF can occur anywhere skin or tissue is breached, including genitalia. It says, in necroticizing fasciitis, bacteria infiltrate the fasciae, which is the connective tissue surrounding muscles, nerves, fat, and blood vessels. The infection rapidly causes soft tissue to die. You see that? It eats away. You get that. You can picture it. Or necroticize and spreads through the body very quickly. So it's deadly. It's quick. That's, man, horrific times, man, that we're living in. No time to be playing around. Especially with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, thou shalt not tempt the Lord as thou did in Massah. It says, the case reports authors who are affiliated with the Shrewsbury and the Telford Hospital in England shared these 3 cases to notify other gynecologists of the possibility of vulvar involvement in the necroticizing fasciitis cases. They noted that their hospital has seen a significant uptick in flesh-eating infections in recent years, with 20 cases seen between 2022 and 2024, when only 18 had been reported in the preceding decade. So it's increasing. Again, these plagues are increasing. It's serious times, man. In addition, several EU states and the US have reported increases in invasive group of streptococcus, an infection that can lead to necroticizing fasciitis. Let's see some more. It is an extremely aggressive infection that can advance to life-threatening situations in 24 to 48 hours. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is not playing around, man. 'Tis the season of judgment. So it says, Sullivan said, after these bacteria get into the skin, they release another reason to stay away from these 304s. Another reason to stay away, as Elder Apostle Tahar so infatuately coined these women, hyenas. Stay away from these 304s, man. Stay away from these hyenas, man. Keep your eyes single. Ye men of Israel. Stay away from them, man. They're death traps. They lead to death. We gonna get these. We gonna get the women gonna come, man. Isaiah, what's that? 4:1, if I'm not mistaken. 7 women shall take hold of 1 man. They gonna come, but they primarily gonna come when society collapses. They gonna come and they gonna be in order, and they gonna be clean girls. Okay, stay away from these scallywags. It says, especially now, man. Now ain't the time to be playing Russian roulette with your rod, man, because that's what you're doing. Especially you're going up in these 304s raw. It's an extremely aggressive infection that can advance to life-threatening situations in 24 to 48 hours, Sullivan said. After these bacteria get into the skin, they release potent toxins that lead to rapid tissue destruction. Could you imagine your rod deteriorating away, man? That's a horrific way to go out, man, and shameful. Shameful. It says, after these and all these things were created for the wicked. After these bacteria get into the skin, they release potent toxins that lead to rapid tissue destruction, liquefying muscles. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It says nerves and blood vessels. Oh my goodness, man. That is a horrific way to go out, man. The subsequent loss of blood supply to the affected parts make treating necrosis fasciitis with antibiotics difficult, Sullivan explained. Infected areas sometimes need to be surgically cut out of the body. Additionally, once the bacteria get into the bloodstream, they can cause sepsis, a dangerous body-wide immune reaction, potentially leading to organ failure and death. In the case report, the doctors described the cases of 2 patients who came to the emergency room with necrotizing fasciitis of the vulva, as well as a third who developed the infection following a post-operative wound. So 2 of them must have got it through sexual contact. 1 got it through an operation. I mean, I could keep reading, but you got the idea, man. You see the source, you know. And like I said, it'll probably start trending more. But I heard about this through social media. I was watching 2 videos and they were going into it, you know. Horrific times, man. Scary times, man. Beautiful times, but scary times, and not the times to be playing around. Okay, and as I've been telling you, this place is through. It's holding. The Pope just got whacked. Oh, also, there's so much going on, you can't even keep up. Well, he not whacked. Well, he's gone. Ding dong. The Pope is dead, and when he died, I wasn't sure what happened, but it came out that he died of a severe stroke and something with his cardiac, some shit, but it wasn't peaceful. He didn't just die in his sleep, you know. So hey, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai plagued that man the latter end of his life, and it's beautiful. Okay, beautiful. Tis the season of judgment. What else? Wrapping it up. Carl Schwab resigned immediately, effectively. You know, he was 87. You know, who knows what's going on, man? Could be. I was watching a brother Yahweh call earlier. He was going into. I do remember Elder Apostle Gabar did mention that this is a feed the beast. It's a very satanic time of the year. You know, where they do a lot of sacrifices, a lot of skullduggery goes on. So who knows what Esau's doing, man, on the left-hand side, you know? You know, they were saying it's pretty odd that he just met with J.D. Vance and then now he's out of there. Either which way, it's judgment. A lot of things are going on. The economy's crashing. You know, things are getting exponentially worse day by day. So again, now ain't the time to be playing around with your salvation. Now is the time to seek the Lord while he may be found and be on fire, not lukewarm, not cold, you know? Seeing that it was in your mind to go astray from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, being returned, seek him 10 times more. Our salvation is nearer than even we believe. So anyway, with that being said, keep watching, keep praying, keep pushing, keep fighting, man. We're close. Shalom. Wa abad babal. Kwam Nasharallah.